It's Friday, December 27th. Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with your midday news. A special welcome if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com. Things are improving for homeless persons across the corporate area. At a Christmas treat on Wednesday at the Mary Atkins Night Shelter, Chairman of the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, Delroy Williams, gave an update on changes at the facility and the conditions across the municipality. For past months, there have been growing concern about the safety and the provision of assistance for the homeless. This homeless man sums up his experiences.
It's rough, you know. It's rough. Because when you don't have anything and you don't have a work or a job or whatever, it'll be difficult for you.
But according to Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, there have been significant improvements over the last year. At a Christmas feeding program at the Mary Atkins Night Shelter on Wednesday, Mr. Williams listed some of those changes.
When we were here last year, you would remember that we had accommodation for approximately 80 persons. Today we are up to 102, and so that is an improvement.
In addition to the increased accommodation, the Mary Atkins Night Shelter has also been improved to provide bathroom amenities.
We have also finished the construction of the walk-in shower. The walk-in shower is very important because the members of the homeless population do walk in from off the streets and they are able to have a bath and to shower and to go out again. So we have constructed the walk-in shower here, and we must say thank you to Kingston City Run, because this was proceeds from that run that contributed to the construction of the walk-in shower here.
Earlier this year, there was a growing threat to homeless people as persons were reportedly attacking them, causing serious injury or even death.
We have received no reports of abuse over the last 3 or 4 months. And so that is also an improvement. We did make an appeal to persons who were doing so to desist, and we believe that that appeal has worked, and so we're not getting we haven't gotten a single report of abuse over the last few months.
No one embarrass me and carry no disturbance. Because I don't mix with them.
Meanwhile, local government minister DESMOND McKenzie says significant work is being done to improve infirmaries.
Concluding the build-out of our drop-in facilities. All our drop-in facilities have been fully furnished, staffed, being supplied on a monthly basis. None of our drop-in facilities will ever find itself in a position where it cannot provide for persons who are living on the streets who want something to eat. All our facilities, ladies and gentlemen, has been established in a way that those who come to us for assistance will never be turned back.
Minister McKenzie was speaking at the ministry's quarterly press briefing recently. There is renewed concern about the safety of workers in the country's penal facilities in the wake of yesterday's incident in which a correctional officer was reportedly stabbed by a prisoner at the Tower Street Correctional Center in Kingston. An inmate was also injured in the melee. Their injuries are not considered life-threatening. The University and Allied Workers Union, UAW, which represents some categories of correctional officers, is worried that there could be security gaps in the correctional facilities. First Vice President of the UAW, Clifton Grant, is urging the authorities to implement additional measures to ensure the workers' safety. Correctional Services says yesterday's incident occurred during a routine check at a cell at the prison. A man was found dead along Anion Town Road in St. Elizabeth yesterday morning. He has been identified as 40-year-old Damian Fairman. TVJ News understands that Mr. Fairman was at a party in the Anion Town district with family and friends. Reports are that Mr. Fairman left the party for home, but was later found along the Anion Town main road dead. The police theorize that he was hit by a motor vehicle. The Cape Valley Police are investigating. Head of the Area for Police Division, DEVON WATKIS, is or has signaled that in addition to targeted operations, the police will also be looking to play its part in developing the social aspect in some volatile communities. Speaking with our news team recently, ACP WATKIS said many of these communities have prospects that are not being exploited.
It's an absolute pleasure when I go into a community like Woodstown, Trenchtown, and see the value and the potential of some of the citizens, the patriot, the rich legacy that are not exploited. And I know our commissioner and ministers signal our intention to move our headquarters facilities down in that area to help to rebuild, to change the culture and to influence behavior in a positive way.
He's added that he will also be looking to improve the relationship between the police and the citizens.
I want to appeal to the citizens to join us, but not only in the West. We're talking about in the East, we're talking about up in the North, talking about up in Augustown. They have demonstrated before that they can come together and bring about peace. We need more like that. Down in Swallowfield, we have had flare-up, we have responded, and we have seen suppression.
And we take a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. There's more when we return. Welcome back, continuing the news. Tourism Minister EDMUND Bartlett has declared that Jamaica will record an increase in stopover arrivals this month. While speaking with TVJ News, Mr. Bartlett said there were fears December would have performed below target.
December traditionally are big months, and last December was a huge month. But we are now growing at 8.8% for the month so far, and that is to the 21st. And the big week of Christmas is now just happening, and then another big week for the New Year's. So we can see that December is going to give us some double-digit outturn.
Mr. Bartlett says it is projected that the country will end 2019 with 2.6 million stopover arrivals and at least $3.7 billion in earnings. He adds that Jamaica has surpassed other destinations in the Caribbean in earnings from tourism.
We're up 10.3% in earnings. And the fact is that in the 3.5 years that we have been in government, we have almost doubled the earnings in tourism. Because when I took over as minister, we were earning $2 billion, and we are now at 3.7, going to be 3.8. We are expecting that next year, of course, we'll do $4 billion, and that would be in fact a doubling.
A call this afternoon for the authorities to put measures in place to make sections of the Maypen market safer. Vendors, especially those housed in sections close to the recently burnt-out area, say they don't feel safe.
The whole place in a darkness. Not even one bulb, them couldn't even put in some emergency light. Me mean this thing, it don't look right to me. We have wares, yeah? And the place, if you should have visits around at night, it has to say when the whole place in the darkness, there's chaos. Nobody can, me can't see you, you can't see me. If a man come rob me, how me gonna know who they rob me?
Authorities in the meantime say they are still unsure about the cause of the massive fire that destroyed that section of the Maypen market.
The fire department have not given us, it was inconclusive, because there are a number of things that they are looking at, and so they have not given us a full report as to the immediate cause, of the fire.
We go down to regional news. Less than 24 hours after several Caribbean countries were jolted by an earthquake, the Trinidad-based Seismic Research Center, SRC, is reporting that a string of quakes had been felt in some other territories. The SRC says The earthquake, with a magnitude of 4.7, jolted the islands of Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica, as well as the French island of Guadeloupe on Thursday night at 9:37 p.m. local time. On Thursday, an earthquake with a magnitude of 4.2 rocked islands in the Eastern Caribbean. The earthquake was also felt in Martinique and St. Lucia. This is the third earthquake that has occurred near Dominica this week, as well as the fourth to be recorded in the Eastern Caribbean since Christmas Eve. The SRC says there were no reports of injuries or damage as a result of those quakes. And further afield, at least 12 people have died after a plane carrying 93 passengers and 5 crew members crashed shortly after takeoff near the city of Almaty in Kazakhstan Friday morning. The plane lost altitude after takeoff and broke through a concrete fence before colliding with a 2-story building. Now, the Fokker 100 aircraft operated by the carrier was scheduled to fly from Almaty, the country's largest city, to the capital. Citing the Internal Affairs Ministry, said that at least 14 people had been killed in the crash and 9 people, including 6 children, had been injured and taken to nearby hospitals for treatment. Now, data provided by the flight data recorder indicated that the plane crashed 19 seconds after takeoff, approximately 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles from the airport. Videos and images of the crash site show the damaged plane broke into several parts, with the nose embedded in a small, partially collapsed house. Parts of the fuselage appeared to be relatively intact, however, raising hopes that many of those on board had survived the initial impact. Former national defender and head coach of Harborview, Damian Stewart, believes not enough football is being played locally to develop and enhance the game on the island. Stewart, who played professionally in England and Malaysia, says the lack of a proper cup competition is also a big miss and results in potentially good players going under the radar.
Listen, I think Jamaica missing the All-Island Knockout Federation Cup. I don't think it's played anymore. So I think that's missing. And Jackie Bell wasn't played last year, so I think them knockout leagues are needed. Cover talent, the lower teams will always have maybe a baller that a Premier League club will spot and take him there. So now that is secret. That's the scouting method within football by just playing, you know what I mean? So them things are out now. So the reason why the football is not getting better is because them things, we're not playing enough football in Jamaica.
Now, Stewart, who has also been in charge of his former club, Harborview, for the last month, adds that the organizers of the Premier League should consider expanding the league to 16 teams.
Better. Yeah, you know what I mean? I think it just needs to maybe add 4 more teams, make it 16 or something like that, because I think there's clubs who's financially stable enough to make it happen and really make the Super League a league, because I think if you don't play a Premier League, you don't really play a league. When does the Super League start and finish?
And that's where we wrap the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Remember, join us at 7 for the Primetime News Package. On behalf of the News, Sports and Production teams, good afternoon.